Oh, welcome to a late edition of XFeed. My name is the Schiller. Thanks so much for tuning in. A lot to get over, so let's just kind of jump into what we see when we type in Web3 here on Google. What are the first articles that pop up? Empowering the future, Bybit Web3 and Bybit Learn launch writing contest to spotlight youth voices in Web3. Not a very exciting headline. Web3 and the metaverse embrace trust and privacy with liquid avatars, proof of humanity technology. Again, another kind of boring headline for Web3. Listen, those are the top two for NFT, a guide to earning passive income with free NFT investing. All right, well, listen, maybe not exactly the exact same in terms of unexcitement, but yeesh, we got problems with these headlines. Second one, this week in crypto games, Hamster Combat, Trump Tribute, Pixelverse Token, Ubisoft NFTs. Always pay attention to what the headlines are. Now let's go and see exactly what BlackRock has to say ahead of the ETH ETF as of tomorrow, if you haven't seen.
Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap after Bitcoin and has key characteristics that make it distinct. While many see Bitcoin's key appeal in its scarcity, many find Ethereum's appeal in its utility. Ethereum is a highly programmable blockchain that provides infrastructure for a diverse range of assets and use cases. You could think of Ethereum as a global platform for applications. This platform enables applications referred to as smart contracts to run without a centralized intermediary. Transactions on Ethereum require a transaction fee to be paid in the network's native token, Ether.
I'm just trying to think of, you're sitting there watching sports, whatever you do on your Monday evening, and this ad for a BlackRock ETH ETF comes across the channel. What is the conversation with you and your family? Now, I get in 2024, ads can be kind of subpar, but I'm curious. Are people engaged with this? Is it enlightening? Is it got any kind of pizzazz?
Investor interest in Ether has been expanding as more people adopt digital assets. And that's why we're introducing ETH, the iShares Ethereum Trust ETF, which provides investors convenient exposure to Ether. Here are 3 things to know about ETH. The first is access. ETH enables investors to access Ethereum's native token Ether within a traditional brokerage account. The second is convenience. ETH can help remove operational burdens associated with holding Ether directly, as well as potential high trading costs and tax reporting complexities. And finally, integrated technology. ETH is managed by the world's largest asset manager and leverages a multi-year technology integration developed with Coinbase.
I'm like asleep. Listen, I don't know who they're. I guess I'm not the target audience. This is the idea, right? I'm not the target audience. You want something a little bit more upbeat. This guy's got the suit on, trying to look professional. The confidence with the people that are going in stocks. Very interesting to observe Coinbase making their thread or comment about it, saying ETH ETFs have arrived today. The SEC approved 9 spot ETH ETF applications. Their much celebrated arrival marks another important milestone for crypto in expanding access to and diversifying our crypto economy. I like how these words are just getting thrown out right now. You think about it, right? But then when it's like crypto economy, yeah, okay, I guess that's what we're in. For investors, spot ETH ETFs provide access to a differentiated crypto asset with unique return characteristics. The Ethereum ecosystem is both robust with 15 plus million monthly active addresses and expanding rapidly, with 300% growth in smart contracts deployed in 2023. And this is just a little bit of a chart saying 52 million Americans have owned crypto, 8 trillion is invested in the US ETF industry, and 60 billion total spot Bitcoin ETF AUM. As an example, pause this if you're wanting to read a couple more points on this. We're not going to go through the entire thread here, but as soon as these headlines, everything come out regarding tomorrow, 292,000 Ethereum. $1 billion US, guys. What are we doing with $1 billion? Transferred from unknown wallet to Coinbase institutional. Some people are saying it's grayscale. And then we got Scottie Pippen on the timeline. Meme coins or utility coins? Guys, the celebrity meta is seemingly just shifting from musicians to everybody. Now, I saw this and I haven't really heard anything bad happening with NFTiFi. It's one of the NFT lending protocols, but Poppy's saying several Quirkies holders are defaulting on their loans because the tech is broken. I have several friends that have tried to pay off and extend loans the last few days, and they can't because NFTiFi can't figure it out. It's a shame, and I believe these protocols need to take responsibility instead of screwing over the prot, yada, yada, yada. I feel like we've always had these issues. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say always because some haven't. I don't know if BenDAO has, but with Paraspace, which is now Parallel X, NFTiFi, a lot of these things always seem to have some notions that pop up, and it's not as great. Now, something to note is that everybody's doing these like laser eyes, right? And so we saw Michael Saylor do it a while ago. Elon's doing it. We have different NFT collections that are kind of highlighting, hey, we have different laser eye traits within it. Triple A's just here, just adding it to their apes. And then InBetweeners, this is the weirdest thing. So if you've been watching the stream for a while, I've highlighted this collection a whole bunch. And why? Well, because it's made by an artist that Justin Bieber has used this character as their profile picture, and I was just like, okay, this feels like one of those celebrity connections that had some legs early on and then it kind of stemmed back. And we've highlighted that they've got some random airport utility within their ecosystem, and then they had a Juventus collaboration with the branding. Juventus launched on OpenSea, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if this account got bought by the meme token community or they decided to go full on the meme as a whole, but the post this thing has had the past day, it's just spamming things about their new meme coin. I don't know what the heck is going on. It feels completely out of character. A lot of the account just generally has been kind of positive. Again, rather official, important connections. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're going all in meme coins. Feels like a little bit of a flip. I don't think it's hacked by any means, but very, very strange. Slum Doge Millionaire also saying this is the same artist that designed Justin Bieber's current PFP. Blue founder is completely doxxed and has worked with Adidas and Juventus FC. Currently at about $30 million market cap. Always, yo, Mo Meta, good morning. How in the halibut are you? So I'm just like, what the hell happened to the little bear that we loved? Now, something to note as well is that Tim Sweeney here talking on something that is AI related and something regarding Futureverse and the Gen product, kind of, a little bit of a different way. Let me spin it for you. So he says, Epic supports the Screen Actors Guild's view that game companies shouldn't receive generative AI voice training rights on dialogue recording sessions. If a company wants to offer to license an actor or actress's voice for generative AI training, there should be a very clear and specific contract for that. They should be free to say no, perhaps in stronger words, and if they agree, then they should be compensated accordingly. Now, we've highlighted what's been going on with Futureverse and the Gen Music AI, or I guess that's like their X handle, but they're doing generative music, and they all went through the licensed way as we're getting the AI world kind of ramped up a little bit more. Very interesting to see which ones are kind of focusing on that like ethically safe variant. Now, Robotos here, just wanted to bring this up because I was like, damn, I saw this on my timeline when I just typed in NFTs as we opened the show talking about Web3 searches, NFT searches, what the articles were for it. Robotos was something that was huge back in the day and has, again, 55,000 followers on here. You can imagine the Discord, everything else. And as these AI tools are getting better and better, you can go and see some of these older Discords that still have a community, maybe not as active per se, but they're there. And if there's these AI tools to help be able to make these brands kind of come back to life, even if it's not necessarily done from the original artist, but just something where people can connect over something they like, something to just watch the space over, because again, the tooling's getting better and better. Now, Garga from Bored Apes, Mr. Yuga Labs, was on a space the other day and went over a lot of different things. We'll play a clip from that here in a second, but it was mentioned the first 3 Project Dragon events will take place on Metropolis. So again, waiting for some big activations as we've seen the other side trips. This is, I think, going to be the next evolution of that within these Project Dragons. They showed kind of like a teaser of just some of the art here. This feels, I don't know, pretty high quality. I like the looks of it, but I don't have a whole lot more to judge on. And Curtis will be available as a playable character for mutants during Project Dragon. So within that spaces, there was a clip where Garga kind of went pretty in depth here. Oh my God, was that still playing? No, I think we got it. I got to double check. I don't know if that moved out of place, but he was talking about how mutants are significantly harder to add to these worlds. So hopefully I timed this right, and we'll see what the clip says.
Done and all that. There's more there, and so with this new UGC tool, I think it'll make it even easier for people who aren't, at all technically savvy to like make memes and signs and fun stuff and poses and all that with.
This part right here is referring to other side and how there's now like other sites and toolings to help people be like more creative. It's not like super in depth, but it's kind of a really nice tool, which we're seeing again more and more of with the whole Web3 and user generated content.
Not just their bored apes, but their these new mutant models as well. The mutant Those mutants will be able to be used, like say like in the ODK or something like that. The ones for the kind of mass density experiences on other side are still a ways out. That's a basically the when you're making avatars for a super mass density experience where there's 3,000 people running around, there's a lot of optimizations that get stuffed in to the point where like you're not making one of one avatar models, you're making like a generative art system almost that can assemble these things on the fly. If that
I mean, listen, the technology, what we're needing to do to make this whole metaverse thing a reality, kind of crazy. And also highlighting here from that interview, when asked why it took so long to get back to the other side meta following the second trip, Garga said that they brought in experts who they thought may know better on how to run things, but learned that it's better for him to follow his own instincts. Now Yuga Labs is back to shipping experience. This is like Project Dragon, so very interesting again to see some of the reactions. Now, this is kind of funny, and shout out to the weekend for anybody that watches the Call of Duty League. Optic Texas ended up winning the championship, but it's funny because we saw everybody go back to when Kenny, one of the players, was rumored to have joined or wanted to be picked up by Optic, and people were flaming the hell out of it, and they all proved the doubters wrong. So again, have your confidence, have your faith. Damn it, you might be right with your take, and you might be seeing takes on the timeline of things you love. People are trashing, and they be wrong. You never know. Yatsiwu here from Animoca Brand saying how to bring Web3 mass adoption to over 1 billion people. Take Ton Blockchain and Mocha Network and Animoca Brand's partnership, and that'll play a significant role into this. So I'm still trying to fully understand this because we played a clip the other day where Yat was talking about how it's already integrated. They're going to have 1 billion people that are using Web3, all these crazy, insane numbers. And it's like, is this actually the time where we hit that kind of next stage or not so much? And here's a little quick clip from that as well.
Now. And
you should clarify, sorry, from the Twitter space that was the Mochaverse X Ton that had Yatsui on it.
The last one that I've heard been announced was OKX, that they gotta also be releasing their own mini app very soon. So this is a truly fascinating time to be alive and see all of it happening from the first row. So I wanted to ask you this: where do you see the whole Tron ecosystem and Web3 integrations into the Telegram in, let's say, a couple of years? What do you think going to be some major progresses made in this regard?
Well, I think one equivalent ecosystem out there is the WeChat mini app, right? So I think if people are curious about where Ton would actually go, you can almost imagine basically that's how WeChat mini app actually thrive in the Web2 side, on the Web2 side, right? But in a way, actually, Ton is decentralized that everyone can actually build on top of that. That's very bullish because WeChat is basically partly is potentially censored and stuff like that. So if you people who are probably not familiar with WeChat, like because back then I was building startups in the e-commerce space and I was building a WeChat mini app back then. And if you build a way that basically your e-commerce platform acting as a mini app and you need to redirect your user to Alibaba in order to purchase the product, you would realize actually that link is blocked, right? But then Ton is different because Ton is actually decentralized. Like Ton doesn't really care about.
So it's a little bit more of a highlight on the decentralized aspect. Obviously, we saw the thing with CrowdStrike where Microsoft, all these airports, all these operations around the world ended up going down at a time, which sucked. And we saw the narrative take off right quick about the decentralized applications. And this is just kind of like another variant for that. MetaBlock's here with a post talking about the NFT class of 2021. And I want to go over how you guys would think the total, well, actually, I should say this is focused, if I'm looking at this correctly, yeah, it's focused more on the floor price. It's not total volume or anything, but let's go through what it was. And this goes from like number 1 to 17. So Pudgy Penguins in first, and this is again the highest cost to lowest. So Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cyberkongs, Milady Maker, Doodles, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Terraforms, VFriend, Sappy Seals, Amoebits, Cryptodes, Clone X, Cool Cats, Bored Ape Kennel Club, MFers, World of Women, Fluff World, Gutter Cat Gang, Oni Force, and Lazy Lions. Now, it's interesting when you've like been in the space and you go over and you're like, okay, Lazy Lions had a thing where if people made their Twitter banner a bungalow, they ended up getting like actually paid for that because it was marketing considerations. And then Gutter Cat had different events within Vegas. Fluff World had actual physical concerts early on. World of Women did something with Madonna in New York at a point. A lot of live events for a lot of these different things. Cryptodes, there's been almost nothing that has happened with it from my understanding. Same with MFers. So very interesting to see them here up in the top 15 of this list. But again, the top 5, kind of crazy when you look at Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cyberkongs, Milady Maker, and Doodles. Doodles was the one that came out a little bit later, and it felt different. I think there was a lot of collections early on that tried to launch and have like a certain appeal, but Doodles and the artist Burnt Toast really had a very unique style. And as you can see here, I'm putting that within the top 5 as we've been going over the video and rating as of last week. But we're seeing again another big buy for a Doodle Grail. Rainbow Mouth going for $20,000 at the Y 5.5 ETH. Kind of nuts. JPEG Gallery trying to give not financial advice, of course, but just kind of a perspective, kind of interesting. This is your reminder that the only art to guarantee you a future return on is X copy. Maybe not. Kind of interesting. It feels like we've gone through a whole bunch of narratives and we haven't really had the artist narrative, at least I've seen on my timeline, in a hot minute. We've not seen the generative AI. We've not seen really kind of anything, to be honest. We've seen certain gaming ecosystems start to flourish, but then on top of that, it still feels like there's just a massive focus on these tokens. Is it the ETH ETF? What exactly is it all about? I know a lot of people within the NFT space are now going max for the coins. Sergito with a kind of funny bring up of the past here, talking about Ryan Carson when he swept $900,000 of Moonbirds, causing the floor to move up 50%, and then tweeted to celebrate that his fund is up 55% in 7 days. Listen, I'm all about pumping the bags, but listen, when you moon your own floor, it feels a little bit disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's way back in 2021. We got some fun on the timeline regarding Artifact. I don't know if you guys have any strong opinions on this one, but Zero saying that Artifact looks like a knockoff Rayquaza Pokemon. I think there's going to be a big problem with anything that is doing like a Monster Hunter, Pokemon, like monster catcher just as a whole, because I feel like there's only so many ways you can make something, but also playing off the similar characteristics for Pokemon, and people are like, oh, that looks familiar. Oh, that's not that. Let me go check it out. Like, I kind of get it. Again, some of the couple of the Murakami traits I think have been really cool. They've also posted some of their other avatars. I think they look like okay. Like, this doesn't really make me jump out of bed by any means. I think it's like PFPs, I guess they look okay, but that, not a huge fan of. This looks all right, and like this 3D character I think looks better than the other one, but we'll kind of see what else Artifact has cooking, because again, the shoes are on my timeline all the freaking time. Royal Society of Players, you guys might remember this. They did a generative collection with Billy Butcher way back in the day. And if you don't know who Billy Butcher is, he was one of the artists that was the graphic designer for Stranger Things. And you might have seen some of the wild posters that he did back in the day. And this collection actually went out and got him to create a generative collection for them. And we did have some really, really cool artists within the space way back in the day. And some of those pieces, again, you can get for like $15 or something if you feel. Fibaka. They wanted to highlight something coming from the ApeCoin DAO. This one's interesting. So this is a proposal about ApeCoin hotels. So let me just give you, pretend that I just gave you 10 ApeCoin. and you're kind of sitting there, right? You're on Shark Tank. You gotta sit back, be like, okay, do I want to give my 10 ape coin to this idea? It's all or nothing. The proposal: we will launch an ape-themed hotel in a prime location in central Bangkok, Thailand. Our goal is to enhance the BAYC IP exposure, visibility, and utility of ApeCoin and generate actual revenue for ApeCoin DAO. The proposal combines IP application, the hotel industry, the arts, and the cryptocurrency field. The hotel will offer a variety of activities, including ApeCoin-themed exhibitions, an ape bar, various ape community-themed rooms, an ape swimming pool, and an MBA-themed exhibition area, fully promoting ApeCoin, ApeChain, and various ape communities. We will provide various benefits to the ape community. So as you're sitting back there with your 10 ape coin, are you giving the 10 ape coin to this? Are you holding it for the next offerer? It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, you know, these brands, is it something where people are going to go out specifically for that are outside the community? Is it just going to be people that are inside the community? Are you going to go to a hotel and they're like, you can't stay here unless you go and buy this cryptocurrency? Kind of interesting thoughts. Guys, why does nobody talk about the Solana Mobile 2 phone? I was thinking about it the other day, and I just went to their page because I was like, guys, this is coming sometime next year, I believe. But nobody's talking about it. But apparently the first Solana phone, the airdrops that were got from it, some people are claiming that it's like upwards of 6 figures earned if you just held everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't have a phone. I didn't think of buying a phone. I ended up getting this one, so we'll see what it's like next year. But going back to the past a little bit, LG Doucette purging NFTs this week, and this was way back in 2022. He said time feels right to stack ETH, and what he's keeping talks about hoodlums, ballers, Robotos, Doodles, Jenkins, a whole bunch of different things. But what's just interesting about this is we have no idea who's going to be around and who's not, because at the time it's like these are all great, and a lot of them still are around. But I mean, like House Akiba, this was a collection that had like a guy that was brilliant, and then I guess VCs or somebody came in, and then he left the company or got kicked out. I have no idea. 10KTF got acquired by Yuga. We just had the Pixel Vault announcement where they're joining up for Yuga with Reboot Protocol. But Pixel Vault's got a massive ecosystem of their own. The Ape DAO, everybody absolutely hates the Ape DAO now. But at the time, that was kind of exciting. Sandbox Land, again, still around. Axie, still around. Robotos, not unfortunately. Doodles, yes. Jenkins, not really sure. NBA Top Shot, well, yeah, that's still around. But again, the excitement and whatnot, for some have dwindled. Tyler here, highlighting some statistics. Meme coins are the most popular narrative of Q2 2024, according to data from CoinGecko. But RWAs are a close second. So looking at this chart, we have meme coins here at number 1 with 14.34% of the narrative. The next one, RWAs, and then AI behind it. Solana, Base L1s, Deep End Gaming L2. But again, I shouldn't say again. But the Web3 gaming narrative, we keep saying, now's going to be the time. Oh, it's only going to take one. We've seen certain games pop off, but that doesn't really mean anything else. For some of the games, it's been short-lived. So we'll see. If you guys are liking the show and you want to hear what I do in kind of a different way, if you're interested in that RWA narrative, I do a podcast called RWA SegMints. If you're wanting to check that out, there is a link in the description below, and then in my X profile. But here is a quick clip from one of the recent episodes with Jeremy.
We use blockchain tech, but we shouldn't bother users with blockchain tech. It's complicated, it's advanced. If you ask an average Joe on the street, hey, how does the back end of the internet look? No one's going to be able to answer that question. I won't be able to answer that question. I don't know, and I don't care. It works very fine. And it's the same with blockchain. It's a very good technology. It works amazing, but we shouldn't bother the broader audience with all these technical non-custodial wallets, seed phrase, private keys, transferring something on a blockchain. It's all very complicated. And I think if we use the tech as it should be as in the back end and have a Web2 user journey for the users, then you're making steps towards broader mass adoption.
So everybody always talks about all this stuff about the mass adoption, this, that, and the other thing, but it all comes back to the technology just being hidden, having something that people like. And so hearing that from Jeremy, it's just a reminder. A lot of the stuff that we get to do, if you're watching the show, you're probably like a nerd. I mean, is nerd the right word? In tune, aware, curious, maybe would be the correct one. But you have to go through steps. It's not something that's like, I guess I would consider it like easy in the grand scheme of things, but getting people to give that a little bit of extra effort, sometimes that's hard. Now, final note that I want to leave you on here is we highlighted a while ago where the Animoca brands, as apparently interjecting all of the Featureverse tech stack into their portfolio of over 400 products. Now, the other day, Animoca brands came out and said that they have 540 different companies, investments, et cetera, et cetera. So we jumped for 400 plus to 500 plus, which is kind of exciting. Obviously, we're going to be having more Featureverse content once some of the stuff gets rolling out. But of course, if you guys have any other questions and just comments, whatever, I appreciate you guys leaving them afterwards. If you like this video,